Hi, David Erdos with poem 47 from 2020 Vision. As it's Sunday and a seeming day of rest, it seems right to deal with Corona in a more oblique way by talking about and paying tribute to one of the great figures that we have sadly lost, who represent some of the others that we could really use at this current time. This poem is called The URBANE SPACEMEN. With the sad death of Neil Innes this year, we have lost one of comic song's finest tunesmiths. And while Innes wrote The Urban Spaceman, Viv Stanshall, of course, stayed urbane. And suburbane, too, in his Crouch End home, fled from Finchley, in which he would burn. But before that, he taught sophistication and flair language games. One of the great English eccentrics, alone that eccentricity led to exile. And yet, on his Bristol boat before, Viv was happy and productive too, let's be frank, creating his musical stinkfoot and more. His hands shaped ukuleles and painted ornately before parts and sections of surrendered sanity walked the plank. Buggered by booze all too soon, while addicted to his regular Valium chasers, the vital Viv so embodied the kind of soaring spirit we need. For he could laugh at the dark and then swallow it whole with his cockles, with whelks and strong waters to power his faltering joie de vivre. Tragically, the Viv in the Vivre died as a cigarette Viking, burning in bed after decades of becoming his own signal flare. With his radio flashes, light beams, and tonal voice for all classes, along with the terrapins he kept, he was a terrapin and volcano, with pain and humour, face lava, sometimes soothed by ease, cool, and care. Every word he wrote was a song, each thought a silly symphony for us, a 78 RPM for all ages, crackling in crazed shadow as he in turn cackled on. And while chaos rose, he conducted the fury and sound felt inside it. Urbanity, as opposed to urbanism, nurtured and frequently endured, kept him strong. Despite his moments of sickness and pain, he was a prince of charm in the 60s, a one-man riot of lyrics and humour and madnesses sent with God's stamp. And while they may not have received a full lick, today they still seal a lesson. For if he were here now, he'd denounce this, to make Corona near Boner and quite unmistakably camp. Something to be suffered, dear boy, but with a smoker's cough fast phlegmed over. A thing to be faced down with that fury, capped by odd hats, kept and pursed, so as to ridicule and reverse and expose the sheer ridiculousness of it. For even as the serious struck him, he'd still be singing and writing away Time's lisped curse. But Viv and Neil are now dead. Viv and Neil now are spacemen. From their inner to outer and to the back of beyond, both have fled. Now this is a time we cannot. It's why we need them here, more than ever. Their special slant pushed an angle that no commissioned angel could ease. So come back to Peter Cook, Heathcote Williams, and Ken Campbell, as there are none like you. Things stopped shining, and as you can see, light does freeze. It certainly did when you left, and there is little now to replace it. These are Brecht's Dark Times as sequel, and we need you, Viv, and that belch, to make this seem better fast, as now two slightly distorted guitars can't quite court us. And so when hope dies, one's heroes must be rearranged to sing sweetly, and then revived in oneself. David Erdos, April the 26th, 2020.